Hello again, Chapter 8, Section 5. Now we're talking about converting metric to US or US to metric measurements. So it's entitled Metric US Measurement Conversions. And we're also going to talk about temperature in this chapter. And to do this, you can look in your multimedia button, and it's the very first page of 8.5, or take a picture of this, copy it down. You'll need to refer to this chart a whole lot for this section. Let's see if I can get nice and close in. So once you have this chart, it's really easy as long as you just can refer to it. And these are so random. I can't imagine you'd ever need to memorize them. So it tells you that 1 kilometer is approximately 0.62 miles. And that's if you're trying to convert metric to US. Now, if you're starting with US and you're going to metric, 1 mile is approximately 1.61 kilometers. And this is really interesting because it'll help you get a grip on those metric measurements. It says 1 meter is approximately 1.09 yards. So it's just slightly bigger than a yard, isn't it? Or 1 meter is also approximately 3.28 feet. And we know that a yard is 3 feet, so they're really close, aren't they? A centimeter is approximately 0.39 inches, so just a little under 1/2 of an inch. A liter is 0.26 gallons, so about 1/4 of a gallon. And they also tell you that a liter is approximately 1.06 quarts. And they have to say approximate because they're rounding all these. They're not exact decimals. They're never-ending decimals. So they have to say approximately and round them. A kilometer a kilogram is 2.2 pounds. So a pound is more than double a kilogram, isn't it? And then they tell us that a gram is 0.035 ounces. And they give you the conversions to go either way. And what you'll do is you'll use those to write a unit fraction. And so you know that because they're approximately equivalent, if you write one on top and one on the bottom, you're really just writing one. So you're not changing the number. You're just changing the unit, okay? So let's give it a shot. All right, so it tells us that it wants us to change 23 meters to yards. That's the first one. Let's see if I put that in the middle, if it'll focus better. Come on, focus. There we go. So I know I need to put my meters right there and then meters right here so that the unit will cancel. And we want our answer to be yards. So now look at your chart that I just showed you, and it tells you that 1 meter is the same as 1.09 yards, isn't it? So now you just have to punch in your calculator or write it out and we'll do the multiplication. But we get that it's approximately 25.1 yards. Alright, how about this one? Let's try, let's see, 40 centimeters. They want us to convert to inches. So again, English or a metric measurement into a US measurement. So to start out with, we would put that 40 centimeters, and then we know we need centimeters on the bottom so that the units will cancel, and inches on the top. Now look at your chart and find where it tells you that there is 1 centimeter for 0.39 inches, or for 0.39 inches. Now you can just do the long multiplication, or you can punch in your calculator, and they round all these to the 10th place. So I'm saying approximate because they're rounded, and that will be 15.6 inches. Okay. How about this one? Let's go 5 miles. Let's convert that to kilometers. Okay. Now, again, put your miles that you want to change right there and miles on the bottom. I'll write that all out so it doesn't look like meters. And then we want kilometers. So that will be on top. Now, look at your chart. 1 mile, I hope you can write it before me, is equivalent to 1.61 kilometers, isn't it? So now you're just multiplying 5 times 1.61, and you should get 8.05, and they round it to 8.1 kilometers. Okay? How about, let's try kilograms. 17 kilograms to pounds. So one more time, here we go. 17 kilograms, we know we need to put kilograms on the bottom and pounds on the top, and you could write LB, whatever you like. But, look on your chart before I do it, 1 kilogram, what do you put on top? 2.2 pounds, right? So you're just multiplying 17 times 2.2, and that is approximately 37.4 pounds, isn't it? Alright, how about this one? Let's go 5 liters to quarts. So, I've got 5 liters, and I have to write liters on the bottom, and I want quarts to be my answer, so quarts on the top. Again, so liters cancels, and quarts is your answer. And look on your chart and find that 1 liter, your basic unit, is 1.06 quarts. And so now on your calculator multiplying that, we get 5.3 quarts, don't we? Alright, how about, last one, let's do one more. How about 3.5 gallons to liters? So again, we write 3.5 gallons, and then we know we need to find the unit fraction that has gallons and liters. So see if you can find it before I do. I can see that there's 1 gallon for 3.79 liters. So multiplying that out either by hand or on your calculator, 3.76 liters, isn't it? Okay, now I want you to look at this chart, and here's another one you might take a picture of or write down, but this is a chart that kind of compares temperature. And as everything in the metric system, it makes a lot more sense because look, they made freezing be 0 degrees, and they made boiling be 100 degrees Celsius. So when I say Celsius, I'm talking about metric unit, and boiling is 100. And then they tell you some, just to help you kind of get an idea. So 0 is where it freezes, 100 is where it boils, and so everything in between that. A spring day, so not hot yet, would be 10 degrees Celsius. Room temperature is 20 degrees. That's a good one to remember. Because we know in America room temperature is about, well, I think it's 72, but they say it's 68. But that's the same as 20 degrees Celsius. A summer day, so a nice warm day, is 30 degrees Celsius. And we know in here a summer day might be 80 or 90, but our body temperature is 98, isn't it? And so they're telling us normal body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. So even warmer than a summer day, right? Hot bath water, 50 degrees. Coffee, 60 degrees. So those are how Celsius temperatures compare with our U.S. Fahrenheit. And so really it makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? Because we made 0 degrees be a very cold winter day. Kind of random, huh? And water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So I don't know who came up with our system. It's very random, and the metric system is far more unified. But once again, we're used to Fahrenheit, so we know rooms are 72 degrees, and that's just how we think, and we have to kind of convert now to metric. So this is what they're going to do. They will say, for example, let me get out a new sheet. Well, I'll use it on this. They will say, for example, that you should set the living room thermostat at, and then they give you a choice. It could be 11 degrees Celsius, 21 degrees Celsius, or 71 degrees Celsius. And you have to circle the one that makes the most sense. So in all of these problems, see if you can circle it before I do. So look at your chart that you just looked at, took a picture of, wrote down in your notes, and see which one looks like it should be your living room thermostat. And hopefully you all got 21 degrees Celsius. How about this one? The baby has a fever of, and they ask, will it be 29 degrees Celsius, 39 degrees Celsius, or 49 degrees Celsius? So one more time, look at your chart and see if you can figure that out. A fever, so too hot, hotter than your body's supposed to be. And we see normal body temperature is 27, so I might be tempted to do 29, but they actually chose 39. I think, let me make sure that's right, because it does seem like it'd be, yeah, they chose 39 degrees Celsius. Alright, how about this one? We're going swimming, so we go swimming, so it's a nice hot day at what temperature? 95 degrees Celsius, 65 degrees Celsius, or 35 degrees Celsius. Now definitely remember you're in Celsius, because if you're in Fahrenheit, you'd probably want it to be 95, wouldn't you? But in Celsius, we look at your chart, that's going to be 35, isn't it? Because that's pretty warm. Alright, how about, what's the inside of a fridge? And keep in mind, I'm not talking about a freezer. So not the freezer, just a fridge. Okay, we don't want to freeze it, so it's got to be more than 0. And here's the choices. Negative 15 degrees Celsius, 0 degrees Celsius, or 3 degrees Celsius. Well, we know it can't be below freezing, and we know 0 is freezing, so our fridge must be 3 degrees, right? Alright, last one. I need hot water for my chocolate milk. So, if I need hot water for chocolate milk, would I want it to be 55 degrees Celsius, 105 degrees Celsius, or 200 degrees Celsius? Once again, I think they're trying to make you think of Fahrenheit, because you'd want it pretty hot for Fahrenheit, but in Celsius, 55 is pretty hot, isn't it? So the answer is 55. Hopefully you were able to get those before I told you them. Alright, now the last thing this does is have you convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius. And this is actually something I've seen throughout my life, not just when I'm teaching math. So this is kind of a good formula to know. So again, we're still doing 8.5, and this is how you could convert Fahrenheit to Celsius. This is the formula you use. It says that Fahrenheit will equal, I just did that wrong. It says Celsius, we're converting to Celsius. It says Celsius will equal 5 times the Fahrenheit temperature, subtract 32, divided by 9. Now remember your order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. What's the very first thing you'll always do when you do this problem? Parentheses. Remember that P is for parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract. So just a reminder of your order of operations. And we'll do some of these in a second. Let's get the formula to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. So if I'm converting Celsius to Fahrenheit, now I want to end up with Fahrenheit. So Fahrenheit is going to be 9 times the Celsius temperature divided by 5 plus 32. So now the question is, let's do the first one. Convert 59 degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius. Alright, so I want to end up with Celsius, and I'm given Fahrenheit. So use the top formula. And so our Celsius temperature will be 5 times the Fahrenheit temperature, which is 59 degrees, subtract 32, divided by 9. Okay? So, parentheses first. The first thing you need to do is 59 subtract 32. So I'm going to have 5 times 27 divided by 9. Now, they don't have to write it, but remember we talked about that it's like there are invisible parentheses around the top and the bottom. So you should do the top first. 5 times 27, then divide by 9. So do that. 5 times, that's for times sign, 27, and then divide by 9. And you should get, if you do that right, 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, now let's go the other way. Let's convert negative 18 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. So we want to end up with Fahrenheit, so we're going to use this formula, and we're given Celsius, so that's what we plug in. So we have 9 times negative 18 divided by 5 plus 32. Now remember that you do the 9 times the negative 18, and then you have to do multiplication and division. So next you divide by 5, and the last thing is the add and subtract. So last of all, you add 32. So the biggest thing in these problems is that you can do the order of operations correctly and enter them into your calculator right. So make sure you can do that. They're not hard as long as you can do that correctly. And we get 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? Alright. Give that homework a try. See you guys.